Good morning. It's Primrose here, and it looks dark. That's because it's a bad weather out there. It's windy, it's cloudy, it's um, not very cheerful. But I am still hoping that the video is good. So if your kitchen counter or your kitchen sink is looking like this on your watering day, or when you repot your orchids, give me a thumbs up. So these are my orchids. So this is my fourth repot in the last 5 months, and I know you might be wondering why, because I have been having root rot issues. So the first repot happened in July. It was just a normal repot, because these old ones, I've had them for 2 years, and they needed to be repotted. So at that time, I was treating my cactus that had an infection. So I was using a cinnamon powder, and during the process, I spilled some of the cinnamon powder onto the bark media. And then 3 weeks later, I noticed that some of my orchids just fell off the pots. So I rinsed all of these orchids and repotted them in a fresh bark media. And then 3 weeks later, more rotting, and even the new purchase that was repotted has lost their roots as well. So I knew that I had root issues with bark media. So I did the second, no, the third repot I did using a gravel, the kind that is used in aquariums. So I get a really good result with that, using a gravel, because this newly purchased orchids here has been repotted for about 4 weeks now using a gravel, and it retained the healthy roots. So gravel works for me, but my issue now is that as soon as I repotted them in gravel, at least these old ones, these old orchids, I get this severe dehydration, especially with my phalaenopsis. They are floppy as ever, and leathery. So this one, it produced a new leaf, but it's elongated and it's just not holding up. It's flimsy, and I never did any fertilizing or feeding with my orchids for the whole time that they do not have roots. Hold on, sorry about that. That's my oven. So I don't see any reason of fertilizing them when they do not have roots. So the reason I did my fourth repot is that I was watching Susan's video, and other orchid grower like Rick. He does most of his orchids mounted, but he also have some orchids in a pot, and he used river rocks, and then it's just growing well for him. And so it's where I got this idea from. So I was watching NYC Orchid Queen as well, also Todd and Rose. These are nice people that I follow on YouTube. I will leave a link to their channel on the description box below. So I was saying that I noticed that all of them, their orchids are just right on top of the growing media, and mine was just too deep into the growing media, and I was not comfortable with that. So today I have taken them all out, and at the bottom here I put some bigger stones, river rocks, and instead of just 100% gravel, since I am having a dehydration issue, I decided to mix the gravel with some bark media and put some moss on top. And to secure the orchid, I used some garden wire. That's what I get from watching Rick's video. He's doing amazing job in mounting his orchids, but I cannot do that because I grow indoors, and so putting them just on top of the growing media, the orchid just gets wobbly. It's not stable, so I used a garden wire, and if you can see here, and I hope this time I did it right. If I just take that moss out, you can see there it's not buried too deep into the bark, into the growing media. I hope I did it right. So the problem that I am having with these orchids now is that the recovery process is just too slow. So I have taken them all out of their pots today, and not a single root in them. They are still bare rooted. That I'm just happy that the dehydration did not go further, but the recovery process is just too slow. If you can see here, these pseudobulbs was not that desiccated before the rot issue came out. So even the leaves are showing some dehydration, but I see significant improvement when I put that sphagnum moss, because I put the sphagnum moss when they were still in gravel, just 100% gravel. So my problem now is that it's been 6 weeks that they were in gravel, and I still see no signs of any root growth. Perhaps it's because the season, the weather is just too cold to stimulate the growth of the roots. So if you can see here, this Dendrobium phalaenopsis is bare rooted, and that one, I do not know if it's going to be a keiki or a flower spike, because it's just keeps growing. I broke off one here in the process of repotting, and there's another one, another tiny one down there, and I'm sure that's a flower spike. And some of these ones here, I can see some tiny knobs on the sides, and that's bare rooted. And if you can see this, this Phalaenopsis has suffered severe dehydration, and it's bare rooted as well. And look what it's doing, it's putting out flower spike. So that broke when I was cleaning up my orchid grow room. And that one there, this is my dancing lady. It's bare root and it's putting out new tiny growth. There are 3 of them there, as I have seen it earlier. And this Dendrobium nobile here, there used to be about 10 canes in one pot, and now that's how much cane remaining in there, and it's bare roots as well. But look what it's doing, and the new growth is just turning yellow. The leaves are turning yellow and it's flimsy, and I can understand why, because they have never been fertilized, and they don't have roots, so they could not stock nutrients. I don't know so much about orchids. I'm just learning how to grow them. I'm still learning, and I keep learning. And that one is, it's not as dehydrated, but it lost about 4 bottom leaves, and it's supporting the growth of new kikis that's just sprouted out. So I think what I wanted for these orchids to do at this time is to grow some roots. I don't really care about new growth or new leaf or new spikes coming out. I just wanted them to put out some roots first. And even this one, my Cattleya, that's dehydrated as well. So you can see how wrinkled it is. And the canes are just as desiccated, but this one is recovering. It was as desiccated as this one's down here. So and I really wanted my orchids, especially the pseudobulbs, to be as plump as that. So this is a new purchase, and since the heating has been constantly on, the bloom just fade away quickly. But if I can make my orchids to grow a plump pseudobulb like that one over there, it's just as attractive. So that's what's been happening here, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you are having a better weather, enjoying a better weather. Take care. Have a nice day. Bye.